Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7 Episode 12 Victory and Death has finally released on Disney+. After seeing the incredible beginning to the Siege of Mandalore in the last 3 episodes, we move into the final ever episode of The Clone Wars and the biggest finale in TV history. Or at least for us fans anyway. I can't believe we've finally arrived here, but this is it. We are finally at the end. Let me know down in the comments if this episode absolutely blew your mind, because that ending was really one of the most incredible things ever put on screen. Today's episode went back to the usual 24 minutes like the others in the series. They did manage to pack a lot of great stuff into those 24 minutes, but for a finale I would have loved to have seen a longer episode. So before we dive straight into every detail of this insane episode, remember to hit the subscribe button to be notified every time I release a new Star Wars lore and explainer video. Once again, the episode began with the exact same traditional Lucasfilm logo and deep red Clone Wars logo as last time. This time, however, we get one of the most ominous scores ever in the Clone Wars that really brings you into the feeling of the episode. If this piece of music doesn't tell you how you're going to feel watching this episode, then nothing will. The proper episode begins right where we left off last time on Ahsoka's ship. The clones who activated Order 66 last episode are attempting to cut through the blast door into the medical bay, where Ahsoka removed Rex's chip. Ahsoka tells Rex to set his blasters to the stun setting because he doesn't want him to have to kill any of his brothers. As the clones are on the verge of breaking through the blast doors, Ahsoka uses the Force to burst open the door, where Rex is able to stun his brothers. Rex and Ahsoka then fight side by side as the other clones begin to surround them. R7A7, Ahsoka's astromech, informs her that the escape pods have been destroyed and that she must find another way to escape. As they are leaving, Rex informs Ahsoka that Maul has escaped, but she quickly responds that she was the one who let him out, to Rex's surprise. Rex was very worried about this, but he trusts that Ahsoka has made the correct decision. Following this, we cut to Maul, who is storming the hallway and has stolen the comms link from the clone trooper that lost his arm in the last episode. Moments later, 2 clones wearing unmarked white armor rush to confront Maul, but he force chokes them both, very similarly to how Darth Vader would. This is clear foreshadowing for the end of the episode. After completely obliterating these 2 clones, Maul rushes into the hyperdrive reactor room, where he again holds off a horde of 332nd Company clones. He uses the Force to destroy parts of the hyperdrive in a stunning display of power, leaving the ship without any thrust or power. I have to say, this truly is a beautiful scene. After the destruction of the hyperdrives, the Republic Cruiser is pulled out of hyperspace instantly, but Ahsoka and Rex are able to take a small amount of control back from the ship. Ahsoka then instructs R7 to open the hangar doors, while she instructs Gigi to find out what happened to the ship. The droid Gigi could actually be a reference to another droid in the series named K2B4, who was named after Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant also had a daughter named Gigi, so it's possible that this droid is a tribute to them. It could also be a reference to a specific train that Dave Filoni has been known to be a huge fan of in the past, called the GG1, which also has the same golden stripes as the droid. Cutting back to Maul, he listens into the clone comm signal, where he discovers that the clones are moving towards the main hangar. Gigi also informs Ahsoka and Rex that the hyperdrives of the ship have been completely destroyed. Rex and Ahsoka initially cannot believe what they are hearing. As R7 opens the main hangar doors, Ahsoka and Rex quickly realize that their ship is rapidly plummeting towards the surface of a moon. They decide that they must quickly leave the ship or face certain destruction. R7 begins opening as many hangar doors as he can, with Ahsoka trying to locate a suitable ship for their escape. She eventually locates an escape vehicle, but the hangar is surrounded by the entire battalion of clones, now led by Jesse, who stands firmly hoping to kill Rex and Ahsoka should they attempt to escape. After this, we get an incredibly emotional moment where Ahsoka pulls Rex's helmet off to reveal tears dropping down his face. He is extremely distressed at having to make the decision to kill many of his brothers. I can't state enough just how sad this scene was. Incredibly heartbreaking and emotional. Ahsoka then states that she is not going to be the one that kills Rex's brothers in front of his eyes, but that she has an alternative plan to escape. The two then carry the plan out, with Rex pretending to bring Ahsoka to Jesse as a prisoner. Rex informs the other clones that he doesn't think she can legally be executed because of the loophole that she is no longer a Jedi. Jesse then tells Rex that they are under specific order by Darth Sidious to kill Ahsoka Tano, despite the fact that she is no longer a Jedi. We then get an incredibly heartbreaking moment where Jesse accuses Rex of treason against the Republic, as well as being in direct violation of Order 66. Jesse threatens to have Rex and Ahsoka executed on the spot for their treason against the Republic. While they are keeping Jesse and his clones occupied, however, R7 has enough time to activate the bomb bays, sending Jesse and his clones plunging down into the lower levels of the ship. The clones that weren't immediately plunged down entered into a fierce firefight with Ahsoka and Rex before Maul rushes onto the scene. He quickly joins the action, angrily trying to block Ahsoka and Rex from getting to their escape ship. Maul then force pushes Ahsoka to the edge of the bomb bay, but she is quickly pulled back up to safety by Gigi. In an extremely action-packed scene, Jesse and his men enter another intense firefight with Ahsoka and Rex, while Maul is attempting to escape inside of Ahsoka's shuttle. In another stunning display of power, Ahsoka is able to prevent Maul from flying away from the Republic cruiser, holding his escape shuttle in the air with the Force. Unfortunately for Ahsoka, the other clones begin to surround them again, leaving her unable to hold Maul and his ship down any longer. Maul then escapes from the cruiser into hyperspace, with Ahsoka and Rex left to fight off the horde of 332nd Company clones on the deck of the ship. At this point, it is very likely that Maul has returned to Dathomir, because we know he can't go straight to Malachor where he appears in Rebels because of his appearance in Solo: A Star Wars Story. As the ship begins to burn up as it enters the atmosphere of the moon, Ahsoka cuts a circular hole in the floor of the ship with her lightsabers, dropping herself and Rex down into the lower levels. Once again, Ahsoka and Rex face the same struggle as before, facing their former troopers with all guns blazing. Cheap, who sounds very similar to Chopper and is also voiced by Dave Filoni, and Gigi are able to save the day once again, lifting the troopers up and out of the way of Rex and Ahsoka. Unfortunately for them, however, Jesse orders his men to fire on the droids, completely decimating and shattering them into pieces. Rex and Ahsoka continue their escape from the lower levels of the ship, eventually coming across a potential escape ship. At this point, the cruiser is well and truly on its way to the ground, with only Rex managing to reach the escape ship. This leaves Ahsoka plummeting towards the ground, forcing Rex to make an incredible maneuver to catch her. Rex is forced to shuffle through hundreds of his brothers, each falling to the ground in order to catch Ahsoka. In an absolutely beautiful shot, we see Ahsoka grab hold of Rex's ship, while the Republic cruiser smashes into the ground, decimating all surrounding terrain. This is absolutely heartbreaking again, with every single clone on board perishing. Following this, we cut down to the crashed cruiser, where we see Ahsoka wearing her traditional Jedi hood, the same one that she wore to Obi-Wan's fake funeral. She is overlooking a mass grave for the killed clones, with each of their helmets marking their final resting spot. We also then pan over to the helmet of Jesse, confirming his unfortunate demise in the crash. The music of this scene, combined with the realization of what had just happened, is honestly incredibly emotional to watch. Absolutely heartbreaking stuff right there. Next, we see Ahsoka drop her lightsaber to the ground before a fading transition into an icy moon. This moon is the exact same moon that the cruiser crashed on, but we have skipped a few years forward in the timeline. I honestly can't believe this, but here we are. We then get a stunning visual of the Hoth snowtroopers along with imperial probe droids from The Empire Strikes Back. Following that, I cannot get you hyped up enough, but we see the man himself. The one we've all been waiting for, and the one we've all known had to make an appearance. A suited Darth Vader appears on an icy moon. This icy moon is the same moon that Ahsoka and Rex landed on as the ship crashed. I'm not sure how many years ahead in the timeline we are, but based on the rust and decay on the clone trooper helmet, it is likely at least a few years. We hear Vader's iconic breathing sound before we see Vader walk up and discover Ahsoka's lightsaber. He ignites the blue blade of his former apprentice, which is the one he gave to her at the Siege of Mandalore. Vader likely remembered handing the two lightsabers over and probably felt some amount of regret and sadness. Not many people noticed what the bird-like creature that Vader was looking at was. That bird was actually Ahsoka's convor, Morai, who was also the embodiment of the daughter from the Mortis arc. Some say that this is also the physical representation of the light side of the Force. After that, the entirety of the Clone Wars ends with the Ahsoka painted clone trooper helmet shining the reflection of Darth Vader, which slowly grows smaller as he walks away from his former life. And that is where the Clone Wars ends. This is it. There is absolutely no more to happen after this. Again, I honestly can't believe we're finally here, and to end it on such a fantastic scene with Darth Vader in the Clone Wars is incredible. So in the comments down below, I want you to leave your favourite arc in the entire series. For me, I'd say this one is now very close to the top, possibly pushing the Mortis arc away. Thank you so much for supporting me during my coverage of the final season of the Clone Wars. I really appreciate everything you guys have done in supporting me. Thanks so much guys for watching. Remember to subscribe for plenty more Clone Wars and Star Wars content in the future. Cheers guys.